My name is Ava. This story is not easy to tell. It is a secret I have held in my heart for many years. To tell it, I must go back in time. Back to when I was just a girl. I was 16 years old. I lived in a small house with my parents and my older sister, Sarah. Our house was yellow. It had a small garden in the front. I remember the flowers my mother planted every spring. Life was simple then. I went to school. I had friends. I had dreams. My dreams were simple too. I wanted to finish school. Maybe go to college. I wanted to be a writer. I loved writing stories in my notebook. Stories about faraway places and happy endings. I thought my life would be a happy story too. My sister, Sarah, was 8 years older than me. She was different from me. She was calm and steady, like a big, strong tree. I was more like a leaf. I moved with the wind. Sarah was already grown up. She had a job as a nurse. She was married to a kind man named Tom. They had a nice house not far from us. I loved my sister. She always listened to my stories. She always understood my feelings. She was my best friend. In school, I was quiet. I was a good student. I liked my classes, especially English class. After school, I would walk home with my best friend, Jessica. We talked about everything. About boys. About our futures. About what we would wear to the school dance. Everything seemed so important then. So big. But it was all small. I just didn't know it yet. Then I met Leo. He was new in our school. He was 17. He had dark hair and a beautiful smile. He was not like the other boys. He was quiet, like me. He liked to read books. We started talking in the library. We talked about books. We talked about music. He made me feel special. He made me feel seen. I had a crush on him. A big one. My heart would beat so fast when he was near. We started spending time together after school. We would walk in the park. We would sit by the river. We talked for hours. He told me he wanted to be an artist. He drew pictures in a sketchbook. He showed them to me. They were beautiful. I felt like I was living in one of my stories. A love story. I was so happy. I thought this happiness would last forever. But forever is a long time. Especially when you are 16. One evening, we were sitting by the river. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. It was beautiful. He held my hand. He looked at me. And he kissed me. It was my first real kiss. It felt magical. It felt perfect. I thought I was in love. I thought he was in love with me too. We were young. We were careless. We didn't think about the future. We only thought about that moment. That perfect, magical moment. But moments pass. And sometimes they leave something behind. A few months later, things started to change. I started to feel sick in the mornings. I was tired all the time. I didn't understand what was happening. At first, I thought I was just sick. A flu, maybe. But the sickness didn't go away. A small, scary thought started to grow in my mind. A thought I tried to push away. but it kept coming back, louder and louder. I told Jessica. She was scared for me. She helped me. We went to a pharmacy in the next town. I bought a pregnancy test. I was too scared to even look at it. Jessica held my hand. I went into the bathroom. My hands were shaking. I waited for the result. It felt like the longest 3 minutes of my life. Then I looked. 2 pink lines. 2 lines that changed everything. I was pregnant. I sat on the floor of the bathroom and cried. I was 16, a child, and I was going to have a child. I felt so lost, so scared, so alone. What was I going to do? What about school? What about my dreams of being a writer? Everything was falling apart. I had to tell Leo. I was scared to tell him. What would he say? What would he do? I met him at our spot by the river. I was so nervous I could barely speak. Leo, I said, I have something to tell you. He looked at me. He was smiling at first, but when he saw my face, his smile disappeared. What's wrong, Ava? He asked. I took a deep breath. I'm pregnant, I whispered. The word hung in the air between us. Pregnant. He just stared at me. His face was pale. He didn't say anything for a long time. I could see the panic in his eyes, the same panic I felt in my heart. Are you sure? He finally asked. I nodded. Tears were streaming down my face. What are we going to do? I asked. My voice was shaky. He ran his hand through his hair. He looked away from me. He looked at the river. I don't know, he said. I need to think. That was the last time he spoke to me with kindness. The next few days were a blur. He avoided me at school. He didn't answer my calls. Then, one afternoon, he came to my house. His parents were with him. They talked to my parents in the living room. I stayed in my room. I could hear their voices. They were not happy voices. They were angry. They were disappointed. After they left, my father came to my room. He looked at me. He didn't shout. He just looked sad. So incredibly sad. Leo and his family are moving away, he said quietly. They are leaving town next week. Just like that, he was gone. Leo, the boy I thought I loved, was gone. He left me. He left me alone with this big, scary secret. I felt a pain in my chest that was worse than anything I had ever felt. It was the pain of a broken heart, and the pain of a future that was suddenly dark and uncertain. My love story did not have a happy ending. It ended with me, a 16-year-old girl, pregnant and alone. My house was not the same after that day. The happy, simple life was gone. My parents were so disappointed in me. My mother cried a lot. My father barely spoke to me. They were not mean. They were just hurt. And their hurt made me feel even more ashamed. I felt like I had destroyed my family. I had broken their trust. I would go to my room and just lie on my bed for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering how my life had gone so wrong. School became a nightmare. I tried to pretend everything was normal, but it wasn't. The secret felt like a heavy weight on my shoulders. I stopped talking to my friends. I couldn't tell them. I was too ashamed. I felt so isolated, so alone. The only person I could talk to was my sister, Sarah. One evening, Sarah came to my room. She sat on my bed. She didn't say anything for a while. She just held my hand. Her hand was warm. It felt safe. "I'm here for you, Ava," she said softly. "No matter what." I started to cry. I cried for Leo. I cried for my parents. I cried for the girl I used to be, the girl with simple dreams. Sarah just held me. She let me cry. She didn't judge me. She just loved me. In that dark time, her love was the only light I had. The weeks turned into months. My body started to change. I had to wear bigger clothes to hide my growing belly. It became harder and harder to hide the secret. My parents decided it was best for me to finish the school year from home. So I stayed in the house. The yellow house with the pretty garden now felt like a prison. I felt so trapped. Sarah visited me almost every day after work. She would bring me books to read. We would talk. We talked about the baby. My baby. It was strange to say that word, baby. It felt unreal. Sometimes I would feel a little kick inside me, a little flutter. It was a strange feeling. It was scary, but it was also amazing. There was a life inside me. A tiny, innocent life. And in those moments, a feeling of love would wash over me. A fierce, protective love for this little person I had never met. But then the fear would come back. How could I be a mother? I was still a child myself. I had no job, no money. I hadn't even finished high school. How could I give this baby a good life? A happy life? I would lie awake at night, my hands on my belly, and worry. I wanted the best for my baby. I wanted my baby to have everything. A happy home, 2 loving parents, a life without struggle, a life better than the one I could give. One afternoon, Sarah and I were sitting in my room. I was quiet, lost in my worried thoughts. Sarah looked at me. Her eyes were full of sadness for me. "What are you thinking about, Ava?" she asked gently. "I'm scared, Sarah," I whispered. "I'm so scared. I don't know how to be a good mother. I want my baby to have a good life. A life with a mom and a dad. A real family." Sarah was quiet for a long time. She was looking at her hands. Then she looked up at me. Her expression was serious. "Ava," she started. Her voice was hesitant. "Tom and we've been trying to have a baby for a few years now." She took a deep breath. "It hasn't happened. The doctors say it might never happen for us." I had known they were trying, but I didn't know it was serious. I didn't know about the doctors. My heart ached for her. Sarah, who was so kind and loving, she would be a wonderful mother. It wasn't fair. "Oh, Sarah," I said, "I'm so sorry." She tried to smile, but her eyes were sad. "It's okay," she said. "We are learning to accept it." She paused. Then she said something that changed my world again. "Ava, what if we could help each other?" I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" I asked. She took my hand. Her hand was trembling slightly. Tom and I, we could give your baby a home, a good life. We could raise the baby as our own. I just stared at her. The words didn't make sense at first. Her, raise my baby. My mind was spinning. The idea was shocking. Impossible. My baby. I couldn't just give my baby away. No, I said, pulling my hand back. No, Sarah, I can't. It's my baby. I know, she said quickly. Her voice was soft. I know, Ava. Please, just think about it. It wouldn't be like giving the baby to a stranger. It would be family. You could still be in the baby's life. You could be the special auntie. You could watch your baby grow up, see everything. You would always know your baby is safe and loved. So loved. I shook my head. I can't, I whispered. Tears were falling down my cheeks. The thought was too painful. Just think about it, Ava, she said again. What kind of life can you give the baby right now? You are so young. You have your whole life ahead of you. You could finish school, go to college, follow your dreams. You could build a good life for yourself. So that one day, you are ready for everything. She left my room. I sat there for hours. Her words echoed in my head. A better life. You could watch your baby grow up. Safe. Loved. Was she right? I looked around my small room. My prison. I thought about my future. A future with no education. A future with a low-paying job. A future of struggle. Was it fair to bring my baby into that? I loved this baby inside me more than anything in the world. And because I loved my baby so much, I had to ask myself the hardest question. What was the best thing for my baby? Was it to stay with me, a scared 16-year-old girl with nothing to offer? Or was it to live with Sarah and Tom in their beautiful, stable home, with two loving parents who wanted a child more than anything? Who could give my baby everything I couldn't? The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I thought about it every minute of every day. I imagined two futures. In one future, I saw myself struggling, tired, worried about money, my baby wearing old clothes, living in a small apartment. I saw my dreams of writing fading away, replaced by the hard reality of being a single, teenage mother. Then I imagined the other future. I saw my baby, a happy baby, laughing in a bright, sunny house. I saw Sarah, my kind, loving sister, holding my baby. I saw Tom, her good-hearted husband, playing with my baby. I saw my baby with good food, nice clothes, a beautiful room full of toys. I saw my baby having a happy childhood, a safe childhood, a life full of opportunities. And in that future, I saw myself too. I was on the side, in the background, the auntie, visiting on weekends, bringing presents on birthdays. My heart ached at that image. The pain of it was almost unbearable. But my baby was happy and safe and loved. One night, I couldn't sleep. I felt the baby kick, a strong, determined kick. And in that moment, I knew what I had to do. My love for this child was bigger than my own needs. It was bigger than my own pain. I had to give my baby the best life possible, even if it meant breaking my own heart. The next morning, I went to Sarah's house. She opened the door. She saw the look on my face. She knew. We sat at her kitchen table. The sun was streaming through the window. "Okay," I whispered. My voice was hoarse. "Okay, you can be the mother." Sarah started to cry, but they were happy tears. She came and hugged me so tightly. "Oh, Ava," she cried, "thank you. We will love this baby so much. And we will love you, always." I hugged her back. I cried too. But my tears were sad. So very, very sad. We made a plan. A secret plan. No one else would know. Not our friends. Not our extended family. To the world, this would be Sarah and Tom's baby. Their miracle baby they adopted. And I would be the loving aunt. It was the only way to protect the child, to protect me from judgment. It was our secret, a heavy secret we would carry forever. The last few months of my pregnancy were a strange time, a time of waiting, a time of quiet sadness. Sarah took care of everything. She made appointments with a doctor in a different city, far away from anyone who knew us. Our parents agreed to the plan. They were sad, but they were also relieved. They saw it was a solution, a way to give everyone a future. I spent a lot of my time writing. I wrote letters to my baby. Letters I knew I could never send. I told my baby everything. How much I loved them. Why I was making this choice. I filled a whole notebook with my words, my hopes, my dreams for this child I was about to give away. It was the only way I could be a mother. In secret, on paper. The day came. My labor started in the middle of the night. It was painful. It was scary. Sarah was with me the whole time. She held my hand. She wiped my forehead. She was my rock. My parents waited at the hospital, but not in the delivery room. This was something just for me and Sarah to go through. After many hours, my baby was born. A beautiful, perfect baby girl. They placed her on my chest. She was so tiny, so warm. She had a little bit of dark hair like Leo. She opened her eyes and looked at me. And in that moment, the world stopped. All the fear, all the sadness, it all melted away. There was only love. A love so big, so powerful, it filled the entire room. I had never felt anything like it. This was my daughter, my child. I held her for hours. I memorized her face, her tiny hands, her little nose. I whispered to her. I told her I loved her. I told her I would always love her. I told her I was sorry. So sorry. I cried. My tears fell on her soft cheek. These were the only hours I would ever have as her mother. I had to make them count. Then the time came. The time I was dreading. The nurse came in. She had papers for me to sign. Legal papers. Papers that would take my child away from me. Sarah stood beside me. She was crying too. My hand was shaking so much I could barely hold the pen. Every letter of my name felt like a cut in my heart. But I signed it. I signed away my right to be her mother. Then Sarah held out her arms. It was time to give her my baby. I looked down at my daughter one last time. She was sleeping peacefully in my arms. So perfect, so innocent. "I love you," I whispered. "Never forget that." I kissed her forehead. Then I gently placed her into Sarah's arms. The moment she left my arms, I felt a physical pain, a hollowness in my chest. It felt like a part of me was being ripped away. Sarah held the baby close. She looked at me, her eyes full of love and gratitude and sadness, all at once. "We'll call her Lily," she whispered, "because you loved the flowers in Mom's garden so much." Lily, a beautiful name for my beautiful girl. They left the room. Sarah, Tom, and my baby, their new family. I was alone. The room felt so empty, so quiet. The love was still there, but the warmth was gone. I lay in the hospital bed and I sobbed. A deep, heartbreaking sob that came from the very bottom of my soul. I was 16 years old, and I had just given my baby to my sister. My life as a secret mother, as Auntie Ava, had begun. Going home from the hospital was the hardest walk of my life. My body felt empty. My heart felt shattered into a million pieces. I went back to my room in the yellow house, the room where I had dreamed my simple dreams. Now, it felt like a room for a different person. I wasn't that girl anymore. I was someone new. Someone who carried a giant, invisible wound. The first few weeks were a blur of sadness. I stayed in my room most of the time. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to be alone with my pain. My mother would bring me food. She would try to talk to me. But I had no words. What could I say? Sarah would call me every day. She would tell me about Lily. "She smiled today, Ava. She has the cutest little hiccup. She slept for 5 hours straight last night." I listened. Every word was both a joy and a knife to the heart. I was happy that Lily was okay. I was happy that she was loved. But I wanted to be the one to see her first smile. I wanted to be the one to hear her hiccups. I wanted to be the one to hold her in the middle of the night. It was a constant battle inside me. Happiness for Lily. Sadness for me. After a month, Sarah said it was time. "You need to come see her, Ava," she said gently. "She needs to know her auntie." I was so scared. How could I face her? How could I look at my own child and pretend to be just an aunt? But I knew I had to. It was part of the plan, part of the promise I made. I went to Sarah and Tom's house. The house was bright and full of baby things. A crib in the corner, a pile of soft blankets. Tom greeted me at the door. He looked tired, but so happy. "Hey, Ava," he said with a warm smile. "Come on in. Someone is waiting to meet you." And there she was, lying in a small baby bassinet in the living room. My Lily. She was sleeping. She had grown a little. Her cheeks were fuller. She was so beautiful it hurt to look at her. I stood there, frozen. Sarah came and stood beside me. "You can hold her," she whispered. My hands started to shake. Could I? Sarah gently picked Lily up and placed her in my arms. The moment I held her again, that feeling came back. That overwhelming love. She felt so right in my arms. She fit perfectly. She opened her little eyes and looked up at me. I felt the tears coming, but I fought them back. I had to be strong for her. "Hello, Lily," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "I'm your Auntie Ava." That day was the start of my new life. The life of an aunt. I visited every week. I watched Lily grow. I was there for so many moments. I saw her roll over for the first time. I saw her first tiny tooth. I heard her first giggle. Each moment was a treasure. A beautiful, painful treasure. Her first birthday came. It was a small party, just our family. I bought her a special gift, a soft, cuddly teddy bear. I spent weeks looking for the perfect one. When I gave it to her, she hugged it tightly and gave me a big, gummy smile. My heart melted. Sarah took a picture of us, me kneeling on the floor, smiling at Lily. Lily, with her arms around the bear. In the picture, I looked like a happy aunt. No one could see the tears I was holding back. No one could see the mother's heart beating inside my chest. As Lily got older, it got harder in some ways. When she started to talk, one of her first words was Mama for Sarah, and then Dada for Tom. And then, one day, she pointed at me and said, "Ava." It was cute. But Sarah gently corrected her. "That's Auntie Ava, sweetie," she said. And so it began. Auntie Ava, that's who I was. I went back to school. I finished my high school diploma. It was hard to focus. My mind was always on Lily. But I did it. I knew I had to. I had given up my daughter so I could have a future. I couldn't waste that sacrifice. I even started writing again. Not happy stories, but stories full of emotion. Stories about love and loss. Writing helped me process my pain. It was my secret place to go. The years passed. Lily grew from a baby into a toddler, then into a little girl. She was a happy child, bright, curious, full of life. Sarah and Tom were wonderful parents. They loved her so much. They gave her everything. A stable home, dance classes, bedtime stories, everything I had dreamed for her. Seeing her so happy, so loved, I knew I had made the right decision. I knew it in my head. But my heart still ached. There were moments that were almost unbearable. One day, when Lily was about 4, she fell and scraped her knee at the park. She started crying. She ran right past me into Sarah's arms. "Mama, Mama," she cried. Sarah picked her up, hugged her, and kissed her knee to make it better. It was a normal, everyday moment between a mother and child. But for me, it was a painful reminder of my place. I was just Auntie Ava, standing on the side. I could offer her a bandage, but I couldn't offer her a mother's comfort, not the way she wanted it. Another time, we were all at my parents' house for Christmas. Lily was showing everyone the new doll she got from Santa. She was so excited. She came up to me. "Auntie Ava," she said, "why don't you have a little girl like me?" The question caught me off guard. My breath hitched. The whole room went quiet. Everyone was looking at me. I looked down at her innocent face. How could I answer that? I forced a smile. "Oh, sweetie," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Maybe someday. But for now, I'm just happy I have you to be my special niece." She seemed happy with that answer. She smiled and ran off to play. But I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had to go to the kitchen to get some water. My hands were shaking. My secret was always there, a sleeping giant that could wake up at any moment. My relationship with Sarah was complicated. She was my sister, my best friend, the mother of my child. I was so grateful to her. I loved her so much for what she did. But sometimes I felt a pang of jealousy. I was jealous of her life, the life I could have had, the life of being Lily's mom. We never talked about it. We didn't need to. We both knew. There was a quiet sadness between us sometimes, a shared secret that connected us, but also kept a small distance between us. I tried to build my own life. I went to a community college. I got a degree in journalism. I found a job at a small, local newspaper. I was good at it. I liked meeting people and telling their stories. I even started dating a little. But it was hard. How could I ever get close to someone? How could I share my whole self when the biggest part of me was a secret? Every relationship ended. I couldn't let anyone in. I was too afraid of them finding out, too afraid of being judged. So my life was my work, my family, and Lily. I poured all my love into being the best aunt I could be. I took her to the movies. I helped her with her homework. I taught her how to ride a bike. I was there for every school play, every birthday, every holiday. I was a constant presence in her life, a loving, supportive aunt. And for her, that was enough. She loved her Auntie Ava, and I loved her more than words could say. Now many years have passed. I am not that scared 16-year-old girl anymore. I am a woman. I have my own apartment. I have a career. I have built a life for myself, a quiet life, a lonely life sometimes, but a good life. Lily is a teenager now. She is 14. She is beautiful, smart, kind. She looks a little like me. She has my eyes. Sometimes, when she looks at me, it's like looking in a mirror. It takes my breath away. She is still my everything, my reason for everything. She still calls me Auntie Ava. She has no idea. She has no idea that the woman who helps her with her English homework is the woman who gave birth to her. She has no idea that the woman who cheers the loudest at her soccer games is her real mother. She only knows me as her aunt. Do I regret my decision? That is a question I have asked myself 1,000 times. The answer is always the same. I regret the pain. I regret the years of sadness and secrets. I regret that I couldn't be the one to kiss her scraped knees. But I do not regret giving her a better life. I look at her now. I see the happy, confident young woman she is becoming. I see the love she has for Sarah and Tom. And I know, without a doubt, that I did the right thing. It was a sacrifice, a mother's sacrifice. It broke my heart, but it gave her the world. Sometimes I wonder if we will ever tell her the truth. Maybe one day, when she is older, old enough to understand. I am scared of that day. Scared she will hate me. Scared she will be confused and hurt. But maybe, just maybe, she will understand that every choice I made out of love for her. My name is Ava. I am a mother who is not called Mom. My story is not a happy story, but it is a story of love. A love so strong that it was willing to let go. A love that lives in secret. A love that will last forever. If you are listening to this, and maybe your life is hard, maybe you have made difficult choices, please know that you are not alone. Life can be complicated. Love can be painful. But you are strong, stronger than you think. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel lost. But keep going. Hold on to love. Because in the end, love is the only thing that truly matters. You can do this. You can get through it. Just keep going.